What's going on, everybody? It is time to go dancing. The Hogs are in the NCAA tournament. We've got some more hoops to talk about.
Ooh. Hey,
Big
Big
Suey!
Suey! Oh my
Arkansas
nose.
had a crazy end to their regular season. We've been talking about it all through the last several weeks. They have fought so hard, won a lot of big games, come very close against a lot of good teams, and they make it into the NCAA tournament. Not just squeak by. They're not in a play-in game. They're not even an 11 seed. They bounce all the way up to a 10 seed, a comfortable 10 seed in the tournament, and they're rewarded with a first round matchup against Blue Blood Kansas. Not great, but Kansas in itself has also had a pretty underwhelming season on the whole. I don't think Arkansas or Kansas, either one, expected to be here if you had talked to their fans or team before the season had started. But both teams, I think, are pretty similar in that on paper, they both look a lot better than what their seeding might suggest. So it's going to be a fun game. Arkansas is getting some guys back from injury, some things going right for them. Kansas has a lot of firepower, an All-American on their squad. We're going to get into all the details of it. I'm excited that Arkansas is in the tournament. It's going to be an exciting first round game. Calipari versus Bill Self. I'm pumped that tournament time is here. This is the best week of the year for me. I love the NCAA tournament time, but we're going to get into all that in just a second. Arkansas also got a new recruit this week, kind of out of the blue, unexpected. We're going to talk a little bit about him and then dive a little deeper into each of our individual brackets and let you know kind of what we're thinking, how this year's March Madness is going to shake out. But let's get right into it. Arkansas versus Kansas, round one. Like I said, Calipari versus Bill Self, Hall of Fame coaches. They know each other well. A rematch of the exhibition that we got to start the season, sort of. Obviously, both teams are very different now. Kansas did not have Dickinson available in that exhibition game. Arkansas did not have Jonas Adu, but they also had Boogie Fland and Adu Thero at full health in that exhibition game. Since then, we've gone through about 4 or 5 iterations of this team between different levels of health, different rotations, different guys available. It's just it feels like a different season almost when that exhibition game was played compared to what we're going to see now. So it's hard to look at that one preseason game and take a lot away from it for this matchup. But if there is anything I can take away from it, and something that I think we've seen kind of repeat itself for Kansas this year, I feel like their guards have good length and good experience, but they struggle a little bit against a quicker backcourt on the opposing team. Guys like Boogie Flan and DJ Wagner, those two guys combined for over 40 points in that exhibition game. Again, I understand it's an exhibition game, but Kansas has kind of allowed that to happen to them a few times this year. And I think that if I can point to one advantage that Arkansas might have, it might be in their guard play, in DJ Wagner, in John L. Davis, in whatever capacity of a spark that we can get from Boogie Fland. Um, whether that's 10 minutes of him just kind of being out there off ball, whether he plays 18 minutes and we see more of him handling the rock. I don't know what that's going to look like, but I think the guard play gives Arkansas an advantage here.
Yep.
Yeah, kind of in the same sense, Brandon. I don't want to take anything away from that preseason game. I think that we are a completely different team than what we were at the start of the season whenever that game was played. We've got two guys that were virtually non-existent in the first couple games of the season in Brazil and Adu, and over the last 5, 6 games have really exploded into the players that we've expected to see them be. Um, and we've used this analogy many times this season. We really just got to cut the head off the snake. You stop Hunter Dickinson, and we win that game. I don't want to say easily, but if Adu plays like the player that he's been playing as the last 4 or 5 games, and is this all SEC defender like we've seen these past 4 or 5 games, and he's able to contain Hunter, I really think that we walk away from this game with a win. He's it's no question that he's been their guy. Like that's where their offense comes from.
He's an
Um,
All-American. I mean,
yeah,
he's the dude.
yeah. So I mean, we get good defense on him with Big Z and Adu. Then I think that we're in a great spot. I am really interested to see how the guard play turns out in this game. Um, we assume that Boogie's been practicing with the squad and has a bit of feel for, a game like feel, but missing the entire season basically and coming in, it's going to be an adjustment. So I'm really interested to see how Cal handles that and see kind of where he shuffles into the offense, even if it's just like being thrown in there to give guys a breather. I think that helps more than anything. We talked in previous podcasts about how just having that extra body is going to be very impactful. Having only 7 guys for the last so many games.
Yeah, that extra body just gives one guy that much more rest. It prevents injuries because you get that one guy some more rest. So I'm pumped to see him back. I am also very pumped about playing Kansas. I feel like that was a really good draw for us, honestly. I think we have I don't know, that we have Cal wanting to prove himself that he was not going to get bumped in the first round again. Then we have the guys wanting to show, hey, that exhibition wasn't a fluke. We're going to kick your butts. And then Kansas, on the other hand, is coming in and saying, hey, we want to get revenge for you guys booting us out of the first round 2 years ago and now losing that exhibition. So I'm excited for this matchup. I think it's going to be crazy. I think we walk away with a win, but it all depends on how two guys play. And in my opinion, that is John L. Davis and Jonas Adu. If those two play good, I think we win the game because John L needs to be a killer on defense in the passing lanes like he has been, and Adu needs to be a killer on defense as well. I'll take some offense from John L too, but I think we can get that from other guys as well. So those two play good on defense. I think we win this game.
That's a great call out, Matt. I really think, Joe, you talked about it too. I talked about Arkansas maybe having advantage with the quickness of their guards, but I do think this game really comes down to what can they do with Hunter Dickinson. I don't think they need to just shut him down entirely if they're able to contain the rest of the team, but they have to make life difficult for him. They can't let him get where he wants or do the things he wants to do. The concern that I have with that is foul trouble with Adu specifically. I think Z can have some possessions where he guards Dickinson. I feel like Dickinson really prefers to pick and pop rather than pick and roll. So if he is making himself more of a shooter, I think that benefits us when guys like Z or Brazil are kind of guarding him. But if Adu does get some sort of foul trouble, I worry about what the interior defense looks like with Dickinson, with a big guy that can really do what he wants in the paint. I'm not I think that the Hogs can do enough with him to survive this game. I think especially with Adu playing better, I think they can contain it. And I think Z and Brazil can give you enough. But that would be my thing to watch if something were to happen with Adu with foul trouble, if we have to rely heavily on minutes of Z and Brazil guarding Dickinson, how that plays out. Um, Go ahead.
But here's the thing with that. We're lucky enough that if we do get foul trouble with Adu, our guards are so good at digging down in the post and coming up with steals and loose balls, and the worry still comes with the foul trouble there. Because I mean we've seen it. Wagner, Davis, they've both been caught up with cheap reach in fouls. So but I mean, with Wagner, Davis, Knox, like we've got guys who in Boogie coming back, we've got guys who get down and help in the post, dig, and I think that in itself is going to be vital in just the situation that Adu gets in foul trouble early, and we have to rely more on Brazil and more on Big Z. I think our the defensive focus of our guards helps a lot in that area.
And I want to touch too, to kind of to that point and kind of what Matt was talking about earlier with Boogie also. I think, I don't think that Calipari, I don't think anybody is expecting Boogie to come back and be a star in this game, right? Like it's take what you can get from him at this point. I think the biggest thing that he does, he benefits to me two people incredibly. And one of them is DJ Wagner getting a little bit more time off ball, getting a little bit more time on the just to rest on the bench. Like I don't want DJ out of the game much, but allowing him to get some fresh legs and not have to play 37 minutes in a game like this, I think helps a lot. But I think the other person that maybe even underrated that Boogie's return helps a lot is Billy Richmond, because in the second unit now, Boogie can take those ball handling duties when DJ's on the bench or if DJ needs a breather and he's playing off ball. Billy's done a good job on ball and kind of fulfilling in that role, but he's still that high strung, high energy freshman that we see sometimes where he's not always making the right decision still. We've seen him improve, but with Boogie on ball in that second unit, Billy now free to be more of a slasher, be more of a primary defender, thrive in transition, where he doesn't necessarily have the responsibility of being that lead ball handler in the second unit. I really think that could open his game up a little bit more to allow him to play a few extended minutes when he doesn't have to be the backup point guard without Wagner on the court. So I'm curious to see how that dynamic plays out.
I think the biggest concern with Boogie is making sure that the ball doesn't get sticky. We talked
Hmm.
about that very early in the season, and I don't want to see, we've been so good about moving the ball around, and I don't want to see us get into situations where we're dribbling the ball half half-heartedly for 20 seconds and only getting 10-second look at a play.
And I
Yeah.
think
So
I think the thing with that too is that you don't as long as Cal understands this, right? And like he should, he knows this, but understand that you don't have to play Boogie now. Use
mhm.
him as that eighth man. Use him as a rest for your guys if he's not ready to go. If you see that start happening, if he's struggling from the field and he's not making shots, like if you see that that's not doing that great, just let him be the eighth man and play him 8, 9 minutes and just give guys a break, right? Like that's where I think that this like I don't see any part of it being a negative because you don't have to play him. You don't
Yeah.
have to force him back into your starting five and make him your lead ball handler. Use him for the role you need him in now.
And another thing too, it's not to me. I would like to know what his progression was, but it's not like he hasn't been conditioning in some way or shooting in some way. It was it to his shooting hand.
I believe it was his right thumb, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know the process of when he could start shooting again, but like he's not just going to come in and then just be some type of bum. He's going to be a little rusty, but like he's going to be a really good eighth man, you know? And so I think a lot of people are like, oh no, he's going to come in and he's not going to be able to hang in there conditioning wise. Like it's not like the dude couldn't run.
Exactly.
I
That's a good
mean,
call out.
it's not like you couldn't run. It's not like you couldn't walk through plays with them and see how they're going. Because if he said to Cal, like, hey, I want to come back, it's not like Cal wasn't inputting him in certain areas where he can walk through and play as a unit with these guys in some sort of form or fashion. He's been at the games. He knows how they're playing. He can't just go in and expect to change that. And I think the team knows that. I think they're happy to have him back. Gosh, I would be thrilled if I got an extra minute of rest the way they've been playing, you know?
one
So,
100%. But we all know that the pace of an actual game is so much different than just conditioning and practice.
oh, yeah.
And him being a freshman and not playing in a ton of college games, who's to say, like we're just outside perspectives looking in, who's to say that he's seen and is able to recognize that this is the way that the team is now, I need to take a back seat. Because when you're a star player on a high school team, you come into a college team and you're that guy, it's hard to recognize that, hey, this team's doing good, I need to take a back seat, I need to be that guy that only plays 10 minutes a game. I'm not saying that it's not possible. We don't know what's going on in his mind, but it's just the difficulty of him being such a young player in such a big game, um, having the awareness to take that back seat and be that guy.
Wasn't there a quote that, like,
Yeah.
yeah.
So he's aware. It's I think for me it's a matter of can he do it? Can he fill a
Hmm.
different role? because he's never done it before, right? Like he's always been the guy, to your point, Joey. But yeah, quote 3 days ago when it was announced that Flan should be available for this game, a quote from Calipari. The great piece of it was Boogie saying to me, "I don't want to screw them up. I just want to help." And I said, Calipari said, "Well, you may only play 10 to 15 minutes, so what?" And he said, "It's not really changing anybody else's role or what's going on with the team. We just have an eighth man now." And so if that is how they can execute it, that's perfect. But it's the matter of can he fill a different role? Can he
Exactly.
do it on the
That's right.
court? So yeah, definitely. But that feels like a good place to leave this Tennessee preview. I think that Boogie, obviously a big storyline. Kansas wants revenge from 2 years ago. They want revenge from this exhibition game. Bill Self versus Calipari. I mean, the storylines don't end with this first round matchup. I'm very excited to watch this game play out. I heard both of you say you think you can walk away with a win in this game. Do you have Arkansas winning this first round matchup?
I do.
Yes. Yep.
Yep. All right, 3 for 3 because I think they can do it too. I think if you just take the last 7 weeks or so, and if you were to expand that body of work over the course of a season, I think Arkansas is much closer to a 7 seed than they are a 10 seed. Like they've figured it out lately. They've been playing that way. Um, but yeah, so this is going to be a fun game. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Arkansas has some recruiting news, an update, a roster tracker update for the first time this offseason. And then we're going to talk a little bit more about our actual brackets beyond the Arkansas-Kansas game and get a little bit more into March Madness. So we'll be right back.
As you guys know by now, we've partnered with BetMGM this season. We'll be using BetMGM lines to make all of our picks, and we'll have special offers for the listeners and the viewers of the Field of 68 as we all get ready for the best month of the year, March Madness. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, you can use the bonus code FIELD150 and you will get $150 in free bets on your first wager with BetMGM, regardless of whether or not you win that first bet. Here's the best part. All you need to do is deposit and bet $5 of your hard-earned money. This is how you make it work. Download the BetMGM app and sign up using the bonus code FIELD150. That's FIELD150. Deposit at least $5 and place your first wager on any game. You will receive up to $150 in bonus bets regardless of the outcome of your bet. Just make sure you use that bonus code FIELD150 when you sign up. And remember, BetMGM is now available in one wallet in select states. As a New Jersey resident, this is super convenient when I have to go cover games in Philly or New York, which happens quite a bit. When you cross state borders, you just log into your existing account and fire away. You don't have to create a new account in each state. It's easy, it's simple, and it's clean. And most importantly, we have some fun stuff coming up for the conference tournaments and for the NCAA tournament. Bet insurance tokens, college hoops odds boost, and my personal favorite, a nice little parlay boost here and there. So download the BetMGM app and sign up today. Big news, guys. I am thrilled to announce that we have partnered with Autograph, a company founded by the GOAT himself, Tom Brady. The Autograph fandom app gives you access to the best college hoops content, fan contests, and exclusive rewards like discounted tickets, all for doing the things that diehard fans like you already do, following your favorite team in the news and listening to podcasts just like this one. When Tom, and yes, I am calling him Tom, we're on a first name basis these days, co-founded Autograph, he had one mission in mind: change the fan experience for the better. It works like this. You get all of your college hoops content you want in one place. You get articles from your favorite writers, pods from your favorite hosts, contests from your favorite creators, all on the feeds and the sites that you already enjoy. But instead of having to go to all these different places, it all comes to you in one spot, the Autograph fandom app. But here's the best part. The more content that you consume, the higher you rank in the app. As you consider to level up in status on the app, you can unlock unique rewards curated exclusively for you. So download the free Autograph app in the App Store and use the referral code F68, that's F68, or tap in at the link in the description below or in the podcast app of your choosing to start earning points for doing something as normal as listening to this very podcast.
Win-win situation for us. He either is a gem and he plays a lot, or he's pro experience. that our guys are getting to practice with.
Yeah, what are the odds that he is like Jokic or maybe even Luca? Can we get one of those guys, one of those fellas?
I would be pretty happy if he just turned out to be like Igor Dimmon that went to BYU this year. I think their second leading scorer. He's averaging like 12, 5, and 4, or something like that. That would be cool. But let's,
Oh,
I don't know, pump the
I'll take
brakes a little bit,
anything.
Matt. That'd be
Come on, what's a little bit of hope, you know?
yeah, you hold on to that hope. We'll see. Like I said, let's watch some film. Let's let him get in the gym. Let's see what he can do. Maybe he'll surprise us, but not a name that was on my radar before today. So but still exciting to get some recruiting news. We'll still be bringing content about the roster as it shapes up for next year. The roster size expands from 13 to 15 scholarships next season. And I have it on good authority that Cal never wants to go with just 9 guys again. That even if it didn't expand, he would rather get to 11 or 12 guys. I don't think he ever wants to be put in a situation where he can't scrimmage in a practice like he was for most of this year. So great step forward. Like I said, if this is the 10th or 11th guy, perfect. Um, but we'll keep bringing news. And like I said, Nate Ament still a name to watch. Already have 3 other freshmen on board. I don't think a lot of guys are going to leave this roster. Like there's going to be several enter the draft, but I don't foresee many hitting the transfer portal. But we'll take that as it comes as the offseason gets into it. Hogs still have basketball to play for now. Speaking of that, let's get into the bracket a little bit. Arkansas, Kansas is a 7 seed, 7-10 matchup. I mean, is I think one of the better first round matchups in terms of just like the storylines I've been talking about, but both teams, when you look at their roster, like if you just took away their body of work and just looked at who was on these teams, you would think they're both competing for like a 5 seed or a 4 seed. And so I think having this kind of matchup with a chance at playing St. John's and Rick Pitino in the second round, that was definitely no accident to put these 3 Hall of Fame coaches in the same little quadrant together. I think that's very exciting. But outside of that, you've got a lot of favorites for upsets, fun matchups in the first round. I think 4 very strong 1 seeds this year. I feel like it's been a while since all 4 1 seeds were just like I don't see any that I don't think will make it to at least the Elite Eight. I think it would be a big upset if one of them goes down between Auburn, Duke, Florida, and Houston. But sticking around in the first round a little bit, is there a matchup that's like 7-10 or worse, maybe a 12-5 matchup that you guys like as your favorite upset in the first round?
Mm.
I'll go
I've
first. I think I really like what UC San Diego has done this year, playing Michigan in the first round. I think Michigan's been a little inconsistent. I think they're a little turnover happy, and I think UC San Diego has 30 wins, regardless of who you're playing at the D1 level. 30 is a lot of wins. Obviously not a given, but I really like that 5-12 matchup.
Yeah, I also like that matchup, Brandon, but I don't want to lean too much on the 30 win thing because I was so on board with McNeese last year
Yep.
and they had 30 or 31 wins and I was like,
Yep.
that's going to be this team. They're going to make it, Sweet 16 Elite 8 and they got bombed in the first round. So, I'm not going to lean too heavily into that, but I do have several upsets. I've got Yale taking down A&M.
Okay.
Um I have I think the Colorado State and Memphis matchup is going to be interesting. I think
That's a big
Colorado
one.
State could come away with that. And right after, I think Grand Canyon could come away with a win against Maryland. So we could see a 13-12 matchup in the second round. I think there's just so much there's something in the air this year. There's just so much uncertainty there. The college basketball world is so good this year. I feel like there are several teams that have all the makings of a Cinderella team to make a run. And Arkansas is really one of those teams. I've got Arkansas going to the Sweet 16 this year. So I'm really
Bold.
excited for everything that we're going to see.
Yeah, and let me tell you mine right now. Alabama State beats Auburn. I'm playing. I'm playing. No, one of the big
Alabama
ones.
State that took a Hail Mary football pass to win their playing game
Dude,
in the final second.
it hit
That's
everyone's hands. It hit everyone's hands and then landed in that guy's lap. That was
People running
amazing.
into each other.
It's
oh my
amazing.
gosh.
But big one, North Carolina beats Ole Miss.
Okay.
Do you call that an upset? And maybe I don't think North Carolina deserves to be there, nor does anybody else. But who cares? They beat Ole Miss, and then I had
North
New Mexico.
Carolina, sorry, Matt. North Carolina is very interesting because you're right. Their resume did not deserve to be there, but they're better than a lot of teams that are here if you just look at like on the board. So that's
100%.
that's an interesting one for sure. But
Yeah, but it's still, I mean, if you take resume, then South Carolina should be there, I guess. But um, anyway, New Mexico beats Marquette. I have that one. Um, and then let's see, my last one, VCU beats BYU, if you
that was
consider
one I
that.
wanted to call out. That's a
Yeah.
big one,
Yeah.
I think. I think VCU has Sweet 16 Elite 8 potential as an 11 seed. I feel like 11 seeds very often make it a couple of rounds. That's my pick this year as an 11 seed to get multiple rounds deep.
Oh, yeah. And Joey, I actually have McNeese beating Clemson.
Really.
Yep.
We'll see.
One other one that I wanted to point out too, real fast. I think Gonzaga is actually very underseeded as an 8 seed. I think that they're really good to be an 8 seed. I think that it's very unfair to both them and Houston that they're going to have to play each other if they both get
Yeah.
to the second round. I think that will probably be the game of the second round if it comes to fruition.
I've
Um,
got Gonzaga beating Houston in my second round.
ooh, that's going to be a
Yeah.
fun one. All right, last question about this. Give me your final four and then your champion in your brackets.
Okay, let me get to it.
So Matt has Arkansas. Let's see.
Arkansas
North Carolina, McNeese.
and Alabama State, maybe. No, I've got Michigan State, Florida, Duke, and Tennessee as my final four, with Florida beating Duke in the championship.
I've I've got a I've got the exact same thing. I've got Florida and Michigan State, Florida coming out on top, and then Duke and Tennessee, Duke coming out on top, and I've got Florida as my winner.
Wow, exact same. All right, I'm a little bit different. I've got Michigan State, Duke, Florida, and then Houston is my fourth Final Four team. And I've got Duke taking down Florida in the final. I think over the last month, Duke has just been far and away the best team in the country. Even with Cooper Flag being injured, they impressed with how well they played without him on the court. And if he is healthy and gives them that star power, they're going to be very hard to beat, I think. Um,
I think it's very dependent on his health. I
Yeah,
think it's if he's playing at 50%, I think it's possible they lose out second, third round.
that's fair.
I
But
think even with that, I think
Cooper
that they'll
Flag at
get
50% is still insane.
yeah. I think even with Cooper Flag injured, I think they could still make an Elite Eight run. Like even without him, they're
interesting.
very good.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I
I
don't know. We'll
gotta
see. But
I gotta look at their road.
that kind of statement though exactly is what sets up major upsets though. So
Mhm.
Duke probably going down in the Sweet 16 regardless because I said that out loud.
Let's see, who do they play first round? That's who they're going to lose to.
That play-in game is tonight, I believe.
Yeah, give me American.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
I think I mean I don't see a Baylor being a problem or Mississippi State or Oregon or Arizona. VCU is the team I talked about. St. Mary's could be an issue for them. Alabama, obviously. Alabama is one of those teams that just their style of play, I don't trust it in the NCAA tournament.
Mhm.
If they
I
get
have
hot, they can hang with anyone, but it just takes just a little bit to throw them off their game and they can get beat in any round, like
I've
Well,
second
Matt
round
Matt
and
and I were
beyond.
talking about the SEC tournament when they played Florida and how they had a complete collapse in the second half.
Yeah.
They couldn't hit a thing. They couldn't. It was insane. So like it's crazy how like it fluctuates by half even. Like they can shoot the lights out in the first half and then not have anything fall in the second. So like you can't really trust it.
yeah, I
Their
have
offense is like
Wisconsin
way
beating them.
above their offense is like way above the pack, but it's like like a teeter-totter. Like it can
Hmm.
so easily fall off in the blink of an eye. I don't trust it in the tournament like this. You got to have some more consistency than that. Um, all right. That's all we have for you guys today. So happy that Calipari got Arkansas into the tournament in his first season. Very excited for this game against Kansas. Could be a very exciting second round matchup too if he does get on to coach against Rick Pitino. Just a very fun quadrant. It's going to be a fun tournament. I'm looking forward to it. Quick reminder that we are brought to you guys by the Field of 68 Podcast Network. You can find us on Twitter, on YouTube, wherever you get your podcast. Please like, subscribe, comment, share, leave a review, whatever it is you do. We really, really appreciate it. It really helps us out. We'll do our best to keep bringing content throughout the offseason and throughout this tournament. Arkansas hopefully will make it more than a couple games, and we'll get to keep talking about this team because they're a lot of fun. But we'll bring content as more news happens on the transfer portal and recruits. But until then, appreciate you tuning in to talk some Razorback Hoops with us. I've been your host, Brandon Baker, joined by Joey Jackson